Students, in this video, we will study about mechanism of nucleophilic substitution reactions. So in the last video, we have already studied the nucleophilic substitution reactions. So today, we are going to study the mechanism of nucleophilic substitution reaction. So the nucleophilic substitution reaction in alkyl halides can take place through either the two different mechanisms. They are nothing but SN1 and SN2. So with respect to annual examination, these two both mechanisms are SN1 as well as SN2 mechanisms are important. They will ask any one out of these two for 2 to 3 marks. So with respect to annual examination, it is important. Okay students, we will move with first one, that is SN2 reaction. So we will study about SN2 reaction and mechanism. So here it is nothing but SN2 means substitution nucleophilic second order reaction. SN2 means nucleophilic substitution second order reaction, either substitution nucleophilic second order reaction. So in this case, we will take the example. Methyl chloride is heated with aqueous potash, that is nothing but potassium hydroxide. Methyl alcohol is formed. So methyl chloride is heated with the aqueous potash, which gives rise to methyl alcohol. That reaction we will write. CH3Cl is nothing but a chloromethane or methyl chloride. It is reacted with the potassium hydroxide or potash, that is in aqueous medium. So it gives rise to CH3OH, that is nothing but a methanol, and KCl is a byproduct. Now in this reaction, rate is directly proportional to, or rate is depends upon the reactant. Both the reactants means one is alkyl halide, one more is the nothing but the concentration of nucleophile. So here the rate is equal to rate constant K, molar concentration of alkyl halide and molar concentration of nucleophile. So the experimentally determined concentration term is 1. That's why the rate is equal to 1. The rate is equal to, or order is equal to 1 plus 1, that is nothing but 2. It is called second order reaction, or it is also called bimolecular reaction. It is also called bimolecular reaction. Now see the mechanism, the CH3Cl. So detailed structure we will write here: carbon, hydrogen, 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 and Cl. Now here in the potash, the nucleophile is hydroxide ion. So hydroxide ion. Now hydroxide ion is attacking exactly opposite side where the halogen is linked. It is attacking exactly the opposite side to where the halogen is attached, because carbon is having partial positive charge and halogen is having partial negative charge. That's why the upcoming nucleophile will attack to carbon atom. Then what happens? Cl is coming out. Now in this case, transition state is formed. So transition state means bond making and bond breaking takes simultaneously. Now in this case, you see OH is trying to attach with carbon atom and Cl is getting away from the carbon atom. So bond making and bond breaking takes place simultaneously, then it is called transition state. So then from transition state, OH will attach to carbon atom, then Cl will come out as ion. So you will get the product as methanol, and Cl chloride ion will comes out. So chloride ion will combine with the potassium chloride as a byproduct. The nucleophile OH minus attacks the carbon atom from the side opposite to the chlorine atom to form new COH bond. So exactly where chlorine is attached, opposite to that the OH is attached. So if OH is attached opposite, then it is called inversion configuration. Configuration. So complete inversion takes place. This inversion of configuration is commonly known as Walden inversion. Okay, so exactly opposite side if it get attached, then it is called inversion configuration. It is called Walden inversion. And the order of reactivity of alkyl halides towards SN2 reaction: methyl halide is greater than primary, then greater than secondary halide, then greater than tertiary. So primary halide in presence of aqueous potassium hydroxide, whatever it undergoes the reaction, it is SN1. Either if the nucleophiles undergoes reaction with the primary halides, then it is a SN2 reaction. Now next one, SN1 mechanism. So in a SN1 mechanism, it is nothing but nucleophilic substitution first order reaction. So SN1 means nucleophilic substitution first order reaction. Now in this case, we'll take the example. We'll take the example. So before taking the example, so here you see SN1 reaction are carried out in a polar protic solvents like water, acetic acid. So SN1 reaction, for SN1 reaction we required polar solvents. For SN1 reaction we required polar solvents. So take an example. Hydrolysis of tertiary butyl bromide with hydroxide ion gives tertiary butyl alcohol and bromide ion. So bromide, tertiary butyl bromide is reacted with the hydroxide ion, gives tertiary butyl alcohol and bromide ion. So write the reaction. See that tertiary butyl bromide is reacted with the again same potash. Either you take in sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. Say OH is a nucleophile. Now in this case, tertiary butanol or tertiary butyl alcohol is a product. In this case, tertiary butyl alcohol or tertiary butanol is a product. Now, here rate is directly proportional to only alkyl halide. So here alkyl halide is tertiary butyl bromide. So here alkyl halide is tertiary butyl bromide. So that's why it depends upon only one. The concentration term, the experimentally determined concentration term is 1. Then hence order is equal to 1. Then it is a first order kinetics. Even it is called unimolecular or monomolecular reaction. Now see mechanism. The mechanism involves two steps. Step 1, that is the formation of carbocation. So this formation of carbocation takes place in presence of polar solvents. So polar solvents if you use, then what happens? There will be formation of ions. Ionization takes place. So tertiary butyl bromide is there in presence of polar solvents. Okay, it undergoes ionization. But like SN2 mechanism, if you see tertiary butyl bromide, it directly reacts with the OH minus. Now OH minus, it has to attach the carbon atom where the halogen is linked. For that carbon atom it has to reach. So here due to presence of bulkier groups, you see there are 3 CH3 groups are there in a tertiary butyl bromide. 3 CH3 groups are there, those are bulkier groups. Those groups will not allow the nucleophile to get enter and to get attached to carbon atom. That's why it undergoes. See there is no possibility of from same side cannot attach Br from front side also and from back side also. That is nothing but steric hindrances, bulkier groups are there. Same side there is a repulsion. Now what happens due to that polar in presence of polar solvents, it undergo ionization. Then there will be formation of tertiary butyl carbocation and bromide ion. Tertiary butyl carbocation and bromide ion. And this step 1 is a slow step. Ionization is a slow step. That's why the slow step always rate determining step. That's why rate is only directly proportional to the alkyl halide. Only alkyl halide. So that's why order is 1 here. Now the carbocation, whatever it is formed, tertiary carbocation, it is a planar. Why it is planar? So tertiary carbocation, the carbocation hybridization state is sp2. Already we know. Due to presence of this sp2 hybridized carbon atom, the tertiary butyl carbocation is planar. Then step 2. In first step, what is the tertiary carbocation is formed in the step 1. So that tertiary carbocation now reacts with the nucleophile. Now nucleophile can attack from same side, either from back side, opposite side also. Now both possibilities are there. Same side it can attack, front side it can attack. So even from opposite side also it can attack and it can attach. So it can give the two products. That is OH is attached to left side and right side both. So tertiary butanol is a product. So it can give D isomer and L isomer. If OH is attached to right side, then it is called D isomer. If OH is attached to left side, then it is called L isomer. So the product is racemic mixture. In this case, the product is racemic mixture because nucleophile can attack from rearer side also, from same side also. That's why here the mixture, racemic mixture is a product. So here the greater the stability of carbocation, faster is the rate of reaction. Now, which one is the stability is more? Which carbocation is having more stability? So tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary, then primary, then methyl carbocation. So if the stability is more, then reaction will be faster. Then step 1 is a reversible and rate determining step. Step 1 is a reversible step and it is a rate determining step. Why it is so? Because the bond breaking is much slower than bond making. So you can easily break the bond, but for making bond, okay, it is a little bit difficult. Okay, that's why step 1 is a reversible and rate determining. So next one, SN1 reaction. So substitution nucleophilic first order reaction. So SN1 means substitution nucleophilic first order reaction. So in this case, we are taking polar protic solvents like water, acetic acid. So SN1 reaction required polar solvents. So these polar solvents favors the reaction. So why we are using polar solvents, that I will explain you later. Now see, I will take an example. Tertiary butyl bromide, if it reacts with sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide, which gives rise to tertiary butanol. Tertiary butanol. You take an example here. Tertiary butyl bromide. You take a potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide. So your potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide, OH is a nucleophile. So only OH is represented there, hydroxide ion. So hydroxide ion is a nucleophile and it will attach where the halogen is there. So you will get the product is tertiary butanol and bromide ion is a byproduct. So bromide ion, it will come with the respective metals. With the sodium is there, then sodium, potassium is there means potassium. Now I will go with the rate. So in this case, rate is directly proportional to the only alkyl halide, that is tertiary butyl bromide, because the step 1 determines the rate, that I will tell you. So here rate is equal to rate constant K, molar concentration of tertiary butyl bromide, and experimentally determined concentration term is 1. Then order is equal to concentration term, sum of the concentration terms. So only one reactant is there. So that's why the concentration term is 1. Then hence order of the reaction is 1. So it is a first order kinetic. See the mechanism. So mechanism involves two steps. In the step one, formation of carbocation. Step 1, formation of carbocation. So polar solvents favors the step 1. Polar solvent favors the step 1 and form the carbocation. So here you see tertiary butyl bromide is there. If you take directly nucleophile, if you do the reaction like SN2, so what happens here? OH minus cannot attack Br minus from front side due to repulsion. So OH minus cannot attack carbon atom and replace Br minus from same side. Even it cannot attack from opposite side also. Nucleophile OH minus cannot attack Br minus from back side due to steric hindrance. So where Br is attached, exactly opposite side also it cannot attach due to steric hindrance. So there what happens? Same side there will be repulsion and opposite side there will be steric hindrance. Bulkier groups are present. 3 bulkier groups. CH3 groups, methyl groups. These are bulkier groups. Now what happens? Due to that it will undergo ionization in presence of polar solvents. That's why tertiary butyl bromide undergoes ionization in presence of polar solvents. So it gives rise to tertiary butyl carbocation, and bromide ion. On ionization, it gives tertiary butyl carbocation and bromide ion. So this step 1 favors by polar protic solvents. Favors this step 1. Then it is a slow step. It is a slow step. Breaking of bond is a always slower than making of bond. Already we know. It is a slow step and it is called rate determining step. It is called rate determining step. So in the carbocation, the structure of carbocation is planar. Why it is planar? Due to sp2 hybridized carbon atom. Due to sp2 hybridized carbon atom. So central carbon atom is having sp2 hybridization state. Then go for the step 2. In the step 2, attack of nucleophile on carbocation. So already in the first step, carbocation is formed. So that carbocation is attacked by nucleophile, that is the OH minus. Now OH minus can attack from same side, either from opposite side. If it attack from same side, you will get a D isomer. Okay, D isomer, that is a D tertiary butanol. If it attacks opposite side, then inversion configuration, then you will get L isomer. So if it attacks from same side, then retention configuration, same side where the halogen was there. If it attacks from back side, then you will get an inversion configuration like SN2. So here inversion as well as retention configuration, both products are possible. So D and L isomers are possible. So both together we will call it as equimolar concentration of D and L isomers are formed. So equimolar concentration of D and L isomers are called. So these are called racemic mixture. So but here in the slide I have shown only one product, that is a tertiary butyl alcohol. Tertiary butyl alcohol. Then greater the stability of carbocation, faster is the rate of reaction. So rate of reaction depends upon the stability of carbocation. We already studied in the first PUC. The stability of carbocation, that is tertiary is greater than secondary is greater than primary, then methyl cation. Here tertiary is there, that's why the rate of reaction is little bit faster. Step 1 is a reversible step and rate determining step. Why it is so? So here, that is the same reason already I have explained there. Bond breaking is much slower than bond making. Bond breaking is much slower than bond making. That's why it is a reversible and it is a slow step. That's why it is a rate determining step.